Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an OP Barbarian build for Karlach or just yourself if you're playing as a Barbarian in Baldur's Gate 3. Now you see I'm wearing heavy armor right now. I'm going to be changing that out and she's got the illithid eyes, but yeah, I was requested to do this video, so I want to go over it as Barbarians can be quite useful. I think that the tavern brawler is the best build, but this is not going to be a tavern brawler build. I'm actually just going to focus on just for the average everyday player that wants to have a good Karlach on their team and wants to keep her as a Barbarian because that just suits her personality well. Strength is going to be our main skill, and Constitution as well, as we want to have some survivability. Low intelligence, you know, that's how it is, and moderate charisma. I actually like to pump up dexterity a little bit there. That seems to be better for just survivability. Plus, we're not going to be using this heavy armor that I have on. I'm going to actually just change that right now. Range impeded because she's got that heavy armor on. I had her spec'd out as a fighter in this game, so I guess for the purposes of this video, I'll just swap out into something medium for right now. But the reason that this build can be so powerful is going into the Berserker version of the Rage, and here's the Barbarian level 2. So for our class features, we're going to be getting Danger Sense. So you can sense when things aren't as they should be. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws against trap spells and services, so that's good with our increased dexterity there. Reckless attack on your next attack. Then the next turn you have advantage on attack rolls, but enemies also have advantage on you. This does take an action, so hard to say if it's actually worth using, but it's funny with the hull scenario here. And level 3 Barbarians, when we get to choose our subclass, this is where things really come together for the Barbarian. So we're going to be going with not the Wild Heart. This gives you animal speech, and later on it gives you some other passives. I think the Berserker Barbarian is the true Barbarian, and that's the one we're going to be going with here. Wild Magic's kind of funny. Wild Magic Sorcerer is kind of funny as well, but we're going with Berserker. Reason for that being we get Frenzy, which is a stronger version of Rage. So you get Frenzy Strike and Enraged Throw. You can make an improvised weapon attack as a bonus action. That's why the Tavern Brawler can be so powerful, as you add your Strength modifier to it twice later on. Frenzy Strike or Enraged Throw. For our race passives, we get the Searing Smite. So you do get a bit of a Paladin style class. You get an additional Rage charge there. So that's that for the first level. As we get into things a little bit deeper, the Barbarian is mostly, you want to keep its health around 50% for its maximum, I guess for it to be the best it can possibly be. For next level, we're just going with the ability improvement score, and we're going to take our Constitution up to 16 and Strength up to 18. Reason for that being we get a +4 to Strength check and +3 to Constitution checks. We want to have as high of health points as we possibly can, because you're going to be having lower health points as a Barbarian. You're going to get hit a lot, and you want to keep yourself alive and in that frenzied rage state. So level 5 is when we get our extra attack, and then we get a fast movement. Movement speed is increased by 3 meters while not wearing heavy armor, so we can get into the fray of things a little bit quicker. Karlach also gets Branding Smite at this level. Those are two really great skills that the Zariel Tieflings get, and I think that's really great. Now, for the Barbarian, you don't get a lot of options in terms of your leveling, so it's all really down to your strategy and your gear. We get Mindless Rage here. Your rage becomes all-consuming, repelling outside influence. When frenzied, you can't be charmed, frightened, or calm emotions, and calm emotion no longer ends your rage. So your rage just gets stronger. Karlach gets angrier. Into Barbarian level 7, we get another class feature, Feral Instinct. You've owned your instincts to the utmost degree. You gain a +3 to bonus to initiative, and you cannot be surprised. That's pretty decent too, but I honestly do think that the best build for the Barbarian is to actually multi-class this and do Tavern Brawler. But I'm just going with the full straight 12 levels of Barbarian, just in case you're someone, as I said, I want to make this for the average person that's playing this game that may not really know exactly what to do. To make things easier, there is a potion that's going to set your strength to 27, and there's also gauntlets in Act 3 that will set your strength to 23 as well. If you're using either of those, put your strength to 8 at the very first level and bump dexterity and constitution. But that's not the way we're doing it. I'm just going to keep this pretty simple for people that are playing and don't know a whole lot about D&D. So the Tavern Brawler down here, this is where the build actually gets really strong. I'm not going to put it on this class, but I'm going to talk about it right now. So when you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls. So throwing things can become extremely lethal, and it allows you to put another point into strength. Tavern Brawler is really powerful, but we're gonna go with just an increase of strength 20. As I said, normally you would dump strength and focus on other aspects of the build, but for that, that's just a whole other video that I'll be covering. I was just asked to do a Karlach Barbarian video, so here it is. Brutal critical. When you've been trained to strike swift and true. When you land a critical hit, you roll an extra damage dice as well as the normal additional critical dice. So extra damage on your crits, always a great thing when you're berserking or when you're raging. For all you berserkers out there, you get an extra action, intimidating presence, menace an enemy, and instill a fear within them. So fear is actually quite powerful, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But our health's at 105 now, so that's pretty good for our in terms of health. Next class feature that we get is the Relentless Rage. Once per short rest, if you drop to 0 health points while enraged, you regain 1 health point instead of being downed. This is great. So this gives you the chance to survive death, and that's exactly what makes the Barbarian so useful, because your health is going to be low often. Now, into the final level, we get 125 health points. That's great. We also get another rage charge, and we get our final feat. So we can take the Constitution up to 18. We can go with Alert to give you a +5 to Initiative. This actually works on pretty much any class. If you don't know what to take, Alert's not bad. There's a few other options. Depends on what type of weapon that you're planning on using. I do have just a 2-hander on there. I do think that Tavern Brawler ends up being the absolute best for the Barbarian, but that's all up to you. I do think Great Weapon Master is actually pretty great on this, because it's good to take earlier on sometimes. Really just depends, because you lose a -5 penalty to your attack rolls, which early in the game can make it so you miss pretty much all your attacks. So don't overly recommend that early on in the game. But later on in the game, you're going to have more than enough ability to hit your attacks, so that can become much better, because it gives you a +10 to your melee damage. And if you kill a target or get a critical hit, you can attack again. So that makes Great Weapon Master fantastic, and the reason that we're going to take that, I could have taken it earlier, but I went with it a little bit later on. Got the question mark or exclamation mark above her head. But in terms of gear, we really want to go with some type of medium armor. The Yuan-Ti scale armor is probably the best. I don't know why I didn't equip that on her earlier, but that's what I usually had her in when she was running as a Barbarian. Having the haste helmet give you momentum with 3 turns at the start is pretty nice. Creature damages the wearer within 2 meters receives burning. It kind of goes alongside Karlach. The gloves of dexterity sets your dexterity to 18. I shouldn't have taken dexterity. I forgot that was completely on there. Armor class 1 with the evasion shoes. These aren't the best options, but there's some different ones that are really great for just overall mobility of this class. Like the Disintegrating Nightwalkers gives you Misty Step. That can be great to get in close, because the Barbarian doesn't have the most movement options. You do get that +3 meters, but yeah, there's some really great items for the Barbarian. Anything that gives you a damage rider, your weapon attacks also deal +2 acid damage. The Ring of Flinging is great for, again, the Tavern Brawler, but that's not the focus of this build. There's some really great items in this game. The Amulet of Greater Health sets your Constitution score to 23, so you could deck yourself out with Dexterity, Constitution, and then not even focus on ability scores. There's a whole lot of different ways to go about doing this. I personally like the Barbarian, dual crossbows, and some type of great weapon. So that's typically how I run it, but let me know in the comments how you would run your Barbarian. I will be doing a video on the Tavern Brawler version of this, which is probably a top 3 build in the game. So stay tuned for that, because I want to make that video really good compared to this one where the Barbarian's just strict. There wasn't much choice there, but I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button below, and I will see you all in the next video.